relationships, trauma, philosophy, relationships, trauma, philosophy. Balls Deep.
Welcome to episode 12 of the Balls Deep podcast. We are so happy that you're joining us today. I'm Scott.
I'm Shelby. Welcome.
We've got some funny things to jump into today. And I'm just going to get straight into it because we've got, as always, a full-packed episode. And you're going to be surprised with what we're starting off with. We're starting off with poo. You heard us right. We're starting off with poo. And you're going to be surprised to how much we've got to tell you about poo. Because this is a lot that we've learnt about poo, isn't it?
A shitload, actually. There's a shitload we've got to talk about poo. So yeah, let's dive into talking about shit.
Let's do it. So to intro this, really something that me and Shelby have realised, in our relationship, is that you have such a stressful day. Shelby's been working all day, so bless her. This is tough to be recording this episode right now because she's been on her feet all day. But we're gonna keep to it. Consistency, 10 a.m. Tuesday UK time, every 2 weeks. But yeah, you have stressful days, hard days, and then you come back and you just need to rewind, unwind. That's what I meant. And you come home, and usually the home helps you with that, but sometimes there's even more stress at home, something you haven't done. But we've learned that when we come together after a long day, that we just, especially when we hug each other, we're just getting weird now. We just, I guess, more in the morning. I don't know, it has been through the day, but basically we've learned that we make each other so comfortable that we need to poo.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know, like something happens in the nervous system where, like, for me, I feel like it's almost your voice and like it's soothing, and then but what then, like you say, it's like when we hug, then all of a sudden like we've got to use the toilet. And like you said, I think it happens mostly in the morning because Scott likes to do this really annoying thing where, because I'm usually 9 times out of 10 up before you, aren't I? Because because of how my workday works and how your workday works. Scott's gesturing a blowjob motion at me, which I think means put the mic closer to your face.
That is what it means.
Are we sure?
For now.
So, my alarm goes off, and Scott will give me a very nice cuddle, and then just when I muster up the strength to get up and start getting ready, Scott will be like, no, wait, I need the toilet first before you go in that bathroom. So, yeah, that's a fun thing that happens. And I think that's, like, out of literally what you just said, like, we have this effect on each other that's very strange.
Yeah, I think it's because we are just so comfortable with each other, and I didn't even know I did that until you told me. And this was like 2.5 years in to our relationship, so you told me that, and that's pretty it's funny, and that's something you'll learn in your relationship as well. When you have relationships, that you have a lot of what I call window pane glass, breaking glass moments, where you break panes of glass, and that's basically when someone's around you long enough, they realize things you do daily that you don't know about yourself. And a lot of the time when you get told that, it will start to bug you as well. And it'll start to really look at yourself. So that's one of the things I did not know I did every morning, and I even did it to you today when you came home from work. And you came home from work, she went in for a shower with it, and she was only back for less than 10 minutes, went into the shower. And within a minute of her being in the shower, I was like, I need a toilet. I need a toilet so bad. And the downstairs, we don't have a downstairs toilet, but it's we painted it all at the moment. So or my mum's painted it at least, and we haven't gone down it. We can't go in there, so because I will walk into painted doors, basically. So, yeah, anything on it?
Yeah, just I think it's an interesting effect. I'd be curious to know, like, if you're listening to this and you have experienced this, maybe you're conscious of it, maybe you've never even thought about it before today, but now you realise, oh yeah, actually that is something that happens with me and my partner, please do email us at, I think it's, I still don't know.
It's ballsdeeppodcastshow@gmail.com.
Yeah, ballsdeeppodcastshow@gmail.com. Send us an email, let us know. We'd love to hear all about it. And we're just verifying that that's correct.
Yeah.
We should know this by now.
No, it's because and you realize this when you build a podcast channel or any sort of social media channel, you'll always find that whatever name you call it or company, whatever you're naming, it's always taken. It's always frigging taken. So then you have to be creative and put something else with it. So if you actually type Balls Deep in on Spotify, annoyingly, there's actually a lot of podcasts. There's about 10. Only like one of them actually posts somewhat regularly, like kind of sporadically. The rest are all dead. And yeah, so not competition, but obviously they do come up when you search for us. But in time, as we do, when we get to 20 episodes, 30 episodes, we're just going to come up every single time because of frequency and consistency. So yeah, that's something we'll overcome. But I mean, this goes on to quite a few things with poo, and to be honest, I mean, this could go on to either way. So I guess I don't know if I want to. I've got to put this in there, and I don't know if I want to talk about it now. Okay, we'll dive in. So as an adult, usually when you poo yourself, it's usually in childhood, right? It's when you're a baby, you shit all over the place, don't you? But I am one of the unlucky few that has, in the double digits, hilarious stories of me shitting myself in my adult age. I would even argue that I've shot myself more in my 20s above than in my, in my ones and twos and threes. My ones and twos and threes. Like, honestly, I think I've shot more in my adult life than my child's life. I'll just give you one of the stories out of the 10, and throughout these episodes you can always email in and I'll tell you more, but I'll give you one now. One was on a train. I was going down to my dad's, and I was between two trains, and I was getting a connecting train. Got off that train, was waiting. It was like 5 minutes to the next train. Thought it was a fart, as you usually do. And it was a packed platform in a station I'd never been in. And it was full on. It came out, and I knew, and you know instantly. You don't not know. You know it's gone wrong. And I went, oh shit. And then the train. I couldn't do anything. The train came. I go, right. Obviously, I'll just go to the toilet. The toilet is it's just it's not, what's the word? You can't go in it.
Like out of service.
Out of service. It's out of service. And the train is rammed.
Oh,
no seat. All the seat bookings are cancelled. So, what did I do?
What did you do?
And I think about how many people I'm stood shoulder to shoulder.
Oh God.
Shoulder to shoulder with everyone on this train, and I know I've shit in my pants. Everyone's gonna know about that in a minute. Like, it's only in a hot train. It's only gonna take a few minutes until that seems like. What do you think I did?
Told everyone around you that you shot yourself. Is that what you did?
No, I wasn't that confident. That would have been a real.
Like, oh, sorry. Sorry, I know you can probably smell something. I've had a bit of an incident.
No, I wouldn't have the balls to do that. I just faced the other way in shame and just looked out the window.
Oh, darling.
For an hour, and just squeezed my legs together. I just didn't look at anyone, and then just wait till everyone got off the train and just ran to the toilet.
Oh, baby, that's so sad. I'm so sorry that happened. That's mortifying. Like, I feel embarrassed if my stomach growls loudly on a train. So I think I'd curl up and die in that moment. My poor baby.
And that's just one. There are countless others, honestly. I've shot myself in a Weatherspoons. I've shot myself.
Well, that's understandable because the toilets are literally a marathon away. You can understand that one.
It was before a night out as well. It was literally, we were pre-drinking in Weatherspoons, and I shot myself at the bar.
What? How do you have such little control over your bowels? Like, how? How do you not?
I wasn't even drunk. I'd just come from work. I was like 3 pints in, and I don't know. I think I had maybe a gut problem. I do take gut pills to like I'm very health conscious, take healthy stuff, but
I think you should go for a colonoscopy and have your.
maybe I should.
I think you should, if this is a frequent issue, like.
I'll be honest, it hasn't happened for quite some time. India, I think that's.
I think India's understandable again.
Yeah, those other times I don't know what happened, but India, it did happen, but it happened twice. So it has happened twice in recent times, and both it was in the bed that Shelby was sleeping.
And I didn't know anything about it.
I think you knew about the first one, but not the second one.
I don't, only because you told me that. I don't think.
Yeah, the first one. I think the second one happened halfway through the night. I went, I can't tell her. And but India, that's fair enough, because
Yeah,
it's
it's not
just
like
your
you've
stomach gets destroyed.
Yeah, and like, I mean, to clarify, I didn't see it, so I don't know this. But when you say like you shut the bed, like it wasn't an entire shit, was it?
No,
Was it just like a nugget? What was it?
It was I'd get it out. I'm gonna probably vomit if I get into the detail of it, but it was what you would expect it to be. No, it wasn't like your morning shit. No, it wasn't like an entire bowl just on.
Was it like? Okay, so what I'm going to imagine it's like is we once went to a pottery class. A pottery class, and Scott's pottery that he made, it was like an effect called like splat or something like that, and you kind of like splat the paint at it. Is that how the shit came out?
That's exactly it. Yeah, that's exactly yeah.
I'm glad I've got a visual.
I'm not. Yeah, that's exactly it is. Yeah, like that splat paint. Yeah.
Oh no.
Honestly, I feel like if you did like a full-on morning poo, then that isn't a problem. I think you're just doing that for fun. Because that takes some effort, innit? You've got to push. Yeah.
You've got to push that one out.
Yeah. I just want to be clear. At no point have I actively tried to shit myself. There's been moments where I've gone, maybe I shouldn't do this one.
Is it just like you've sharted then?
Yeah, every time. But there have been moments where I know I have a bit of an upset stomach, and I'll go, this one could be questionable. There have been times where I've thought, this one might be questionable, and then it's happened, and I go, for fuck's sake. But most of the time, it just happens, and you go, oh, fuck, and you didn't know it was going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's not fun. I can say proudly I've never had that happen, I'm afraid.
Never in your adult life?
No, I don't think so. I can't recall ever sharting. I've had a wet fart. Scott's face.
No, because when it's a man, it's okay. But when it's a and I'm not trying to be sexist. Please don't attack me. But I'm just, I don't know. Until I was about 28, I didn't know women even pooed, to be honest.
And that's when we met.
That's when we met, yeah. And then Shelby, it didn't take a minute. I was like,
oh, shut up! You empowered me to have the confidence to be in. Like, you always, it's so sweet. So now, if I do fart in front of him, he congratulates me. He'll say, "Well done, darling."
I do, because women should poo fart as much as they want, and yeah, and we did have a particular experience together, which will always connect us, and in Mexico.
Yeah.
Where we got like awful food poisoning.
Yeah, so I woke up in the middle of the night and I heard what I thought was Scott laughing, and it wasn't. It was just full on vomiting into a bucket. And then a few hours later, I realised that I was in the same situation. So it's like for 3 days solid, I think, that I say solid, everything was liquid. We couldn't eat. I think we went 24 hours without eating. I think we just had like an electrolyte drink. We just about managed to walk out the apartment on like the second or third day to get to the corner shop and get some electrolytes. But yeah, it was a really awful experience, but it 100% bonded us. I think, we've been together then we hadn't been together a year. I think we've been together about, it was August, wasn't it? So it'll been 11 months. And yeah, like obviously we were very close anyway, but I think, you know, you have some sort of mystery, don't you? Of like, oh, well, you know, you don't want me to see that, don't you? But I think once you've like sat with the toilet door open, like looking at each other to make sure you don't pass out.
Yeah. It was very much an open door policy.
Okay, well, it was an open door policy. Like, bring me more toilet roll. So yeah, we definitely connected. I think it just made us even stronger having that experience together.
It really did. And it was, yeah, God, it was a tough one, that. It was a real tough one. But we'll go from our poo escapades, and honestly, we could tell you more. Feel free to send us a message if you want some more. We can do a full poo episode.
I feel like we are doing a full poo episode.
No, this is only supposed to be like a 15-minute section, which we've only got 15. But I just want to tell you one more thing about poo, which is a wonderful thing. You can genuinely make $500 off your poo, every individual poo. And it was actually Shelby that showed me this. So it's a company called Human Microbes. If you want to go to the website, it's humanmicrobes.org/donors. And basically, these guys are basically looking for poo. And I know that sounds really weird. It's not like some fucked up fetish. It's actually, let me give you, went ahead and copied something offline because it's a little bit complicated to understand, but I just wanted to explain it. I didn't want to mess it up. So basically, they collect fecal matter, like microbiota. What does that say, Shelby?
Microbiota transplantation.
A treatment that helps restore healthy gut bacteria in individuals with conditions like Clostridium. I tell you what, I'm going to let Shelby do this because she's a much better linguist than me.
Okay, bearing in mind this is the first I've seen this text. Clostridium difficile infection, inflammatory bowel diseases such as Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, and sometimes irritable bowel syndrome. And this FMT, so fecal microbiota transplantation. Are you wanting to carry on from there?
Yeah, no, you carry on.
Involves transferring store from a healthy donor to a recipient's intestines to replenish beneficial bacteria and restore microbial balance. This therapy has shown remarkable success rates in treating recurrent C. difficile I've heard of these C. difficile infections. So that's what that Clostridium difficile infection is. Offering a potential cure where antibiotics often fail. It's also being explored for other conditions like gut dysbiosis, promising significant therapeutic impact in the field of gastrointestinal health. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
There we go. Thanks, Shelby. Shelby is she teaches me a new word every day, so when it comes to speaking, it's Shelby. So that gives you a more formal explanation because it is really, it really is helping people. And there's even like a 10-minute Vice news documentary. It's called Your Poop Could Save Someone's Life. Vice on HBO. You know, just go ahead. You know, it's a quick 10-minute. And it's really interesting. It tells you like the whole understanding. And in that documentary, there's someone with bipolar that is getting, and it's massively, yeah, it's crazy. And I've got a friend with bipolar, and he's medded up to the absolute 9. You know, the amount of medication he's on, and I don't know if it's fully cured, but she's taking way less meds, and it's like they were talking, you know, interviewed her, and it's apparently massively helping her, and she, you know. My head was blown when they said it was actually treating bipolar. And basically the way they do it is how you would expect. They basically inject poo into them as an enema. They basically have an enema, poo enema. I know that sounds really disgusting, but this isn't a weird, this really is helping people. Yeah.
No, it's a really interesting one because I guess if your gut isn't responding properly to the... Like if it's not producing the bacteria it needs for you to have a healthy gut, I guess it's kind of like taking a probiotic or something like that, but in an extreme way. So you're putting in someone's healthy poo, so then your body's learning, oh, this is what I should be doing. So it does make sense. Whoever thought of it, Frankenstein, I don't know. I mean, I think it's incredible. I think that's so awesome that they can do that. So yeah, it's very impressive, and I think I came across it on a Facebook video.
TikTok.
TikTok, was it a TikTok? Yeah, well, you see, I don't actually really use TikTok that much, but TikToks tend to find themselves onto Facebook stories or Facebook reels. I should know what they're called. I think it's a reel.
Is that because people have downloaded the TikTok and re-uploaded it on Facebook?
Yeah.
Because I did that today. Is it actually adds the TikTok branding to it?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh wait, that's really interesting. It shows how TikTok's taken over, doesn't it?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. And we have started a TikTok, by the way. We have started a TikTok and a YouTube channel. So for our TikTok, if you go to, I think it's Balls Deep Clips. Just checking for you now. So yeah, it's Balls Deep Podcast Clips on our TikTok. We already have 2 up there. And for YouTube, it's Balls Deep. And we have all our episodes up there.
Balls Deep Podcast Show.
Balls Deep Podcast is our YouTube. So Balls Deep Podcast is our YouTube. Why is it show? Well, that's the art. Yeah. Yeah. If you put Balls Deep Podcast, it's going to come up. It's the big pink logo. And TikTok is Balls Deep Podcast Clips. So you'll get our shorts. You'll get to see who we are and what we're getting up to. So a bit more of an inside look.
Have some tissue.
A bit more of an inside look to the episode, because this is totally audio based, but we've started shooting shorts, so you get to see a bit of a behind the scenes. So yeah, I think we'll leave that there. But it's really just one thing. I don't want to badmouth it because it's incredible, but the founder of it, who is an amazing man, but God, he gives creepy vibes. God, he gives well creepy vibes. Like, if you go on the About, and I don't want to slander it, he's well done, mate, but you give creepy vibes. If you go to the About page, you watch the video, he's just very monotone, pale white, skin. He looks like, he looks like Jeffrey Dahmer. Well, he doesn't look like Jeffrey Dahmer, but I think he could do what Jeffrey Dahmer did.
Okay, well, I haven't actually seen that guy, so I'll check it out. But also, I think it's probably worth noting, because we've said that you can get $500 per poo, so just very briefly a little bit more on that you can live anywhere in the world. You've just got to sort of freeze dry your poo and send it off, and I think they even prepay. They'll pay you in advance once but to get approved, you've got to be like elite fitness, and like I think it's 18 to 30, or is it older than 18?
Yeah, 18 upwards. They prefer, you can be over 30, but they do say 18 to 30, but you can be over 30, it's okay. And yeah, like Shelby said, it's like athlete level fitness. You don't have to be a professional athlete. Basically, if you're just super fit, very lean, and you eat, your diet and everything's very healthy, your gut's in good order, then there's a chance you might get, they might bring you on. So go ahead, do the submission form. It takes about 20 minutes. I've done it myself. Apparently it's a 6-month waiting list. Well, it's not a waiting list. They said they were going to get back to me in up to 6 months. Like, Jesus.
You can start sticking your poo in the freezer now then, darling.
Well, yeah. Oh my God.
Vile.
Imagine...
Please don't stick your poo in the freezer. You need to get a separate freezer. You can get yourself a chest freezer and fill it with poo.
Honestly, if I'm not messing, I full on submitted it, and if I get through, oh my God, I'm gonna be raking it. I mean, $500, if you sent in a poo every day, I think it comes out to like
180 grand. I think it was.
180 grand. So, let's go. I'd be But yeah, anyway, we've talked a lot about poo. I want to give you an interesting fact, and Shelby's gonna get a phone out because we're about to record a short. So. This is why, if you want to see a short, get over to. Would you mind turning on the light, my darling? So we record these shorts live on the podcast. And are you happy with the video?
You happy with me? You want me to start it? Or?
Yeah, but you're happy with are you all lined up and happy?
Yes.
So yeah, we do this live so we can get it all done. But yeah, I've got an interesting fact. It's one that really blew my mind when I heard, because I feel awful to say this, but this happened to my hamster. And sorry, Shelby, you're not gonna like this. So basically, there's a state called torpor state for hamsters, and basically, whenever a hamster is in a cold environment, they go into this torpor state, and it basically means how it would look is they'll go ice cold, they'll go pretty much rock solid, the heart rate goes really low down, and they can be in this state for up to a few hours, even a few days. So again, they're rock solid, they're cold to touch, you don't really feel a heartbeat, and they're just there. And again, they've done this because they're in a very cold room. So it's believed that a big percentage of why hamsters die is because owners do not realize that they're in this torpor state. So because of that, what they do is they go, oh, the hamster's dead, let's bury it. So it's crazy, but basically a big percentage of hamsters have been buried alive. So that's the crazy fact that I learned. And what's crazy about it is that we did it to our hamster, and I feel awful saying that, but I must say I kind of peed off at the where we bought it. They should be communicating this.
Yeah, they really should, and that's incredibly sad. That hamsters are dying. Well, that's horrendous. Yeah, I don't really know what more to say other than that's awful. That's very sad news. Poor hamsters. Yeah, I kind of want to move on from it because I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, Shelby's a real animal lover. I'm sorry, baby.
It's not me you need to be sorry to.
Yeah, no, honestly, I mean, I'm not a big rodent lover, so it wasn't actually my pet in the family, but he always bit me. But
probably knew what you were gonna do.
Hey, it was nothing to. Hey, it was never my pet. I never, I just focused on our dog, the dog I love, but I didn't want the hamster, and I never bought it. It was my sister's, and she killed it. So the responsibility's on you. But yeah, now I want to go to Shelby's bizarre one. So I'm just going to let Shelby explain this because I'm just intrigued for her to explain it.
Okay, so this isn't a fact about the world. It's just a fact about me, and I would love to know if Laura love sound like Cilla Black. First thing, does anyone randomly do Cilla Black impressions like I do? Laura love. That was a crap one, but anyway, do you do that?
You did that once, and there was a scouse behind you, didn't you?
Yeah, and I thought, oh no, they're gonna think I'm taking the piss, and I wasn't. It was just relevant in that moment for me to say that. R.I.P. Cilla, look after the hamsters. But to the point that I would love to know if anyone else experiences this. I get hay fever really bad, and so does Scott. And what I'm about to say actually happened to me today as well, which doesn't normally happen in trainers. What are you laughing at?
I was really trying to take it seriously, but when you hear what it is, the fact that you said I don't usually get it in trainers is just incredible.
So I get hay fever in my toes. That's my fact about me. So yeah, I feel hay fever in my toes. It's that feeling of hay fever that like itchy, irritating, sore, like tightness, like that just uncomfortable feeling that you get like in your eyes and your nose and like your throat. I feel that in the tips of my toe. It's mostly my big toes, a little bit the toes next to them, but Scott's face is brilliant. Oh, I should have been recording your face on this. But yeah, it's a real problem, and I'd love to know if anyone else experiences hay fever in their toes. And I usually get it when I'm wearing like sandals. Like, you know, sports day at school. Like when I was teaching in school and on sports day, I used to wear these like Doc Martin sandals, so my toes were out. And it was sports day, and yeah, and it was really bad. Like it feels real, like a real like a horrible soreness in my toes. It's a real problem. And yeah, got it today, despite the fact that, in fact, I didn't take an antihistamine today, and I got my trainers on. So normally I'm fine with my trainers, but I think because it rained and like the wet grass got into my toes, I don't know. Yeah, thoughts and feelings about that, Scott?
It's just wonderful. I think, I mean, I know it, but yeah, I've seen you experience it. I can't I can't get my head around it, but I believe you're experiencing it. So I think it's important we're putting this out, because as funny as I find it, I don't want to laugh at something, but yeah, hay fever's quite harmless. Everyone's got hay fever. But imagine if someone comments on this and say, I suffer from that.
Well, I need to know if you've experienced this. Please, please, please send it in so Scott doesn't think I'm a nutter. But yeah,
we look forward to it, and this will go on TikTok as well. So all the TikTokers and YouTubers can get back to us. So now we want to go on to what will be the big meat of the episode, and that's an extended version of our travel segment. Did I say travel segment?
Mm-hmm.
Travel segment. This is a good one because this is a segment that Shelby created.
I'm so creative. I'm just so good.
You are. And what we were thinking is we were never able to say our favourite and least favourite, because the travel segment came in later in the year. We were never able to say our favourite and least favourite thing about all the other countries we'd visited this year. So we're going to spend the next 30 minutes basically telling you our favourite and least favourite thing about Dubai, Bali, Singapore, Malaysia and Thailand. Yeah, and obviously Dubai, I guess you'd actually say UAE, not Dubai. So why don't we kick off with the UAE? Because we did go to Dubai and Abu Dhabi, but we're not going to separate them. We'll just do it as the UAE. So what was your favourite thing about the UAE?
Okay. I have an unusual favourite thing about the UAE. And a podcast that I really like is the Guilty Feminist podcast. And at the start of it, they say, I'm a feminist, but, and then they say something that they do that is like not so feminist. And this is relevant. I will get to the point. So they might say something like, I'm a feminist, but, I don't know, sometimes I like wearing pink, whatever. Like, you know, something that seems, not that wearing pink is anti-feminist, but that's a shit example. I can't think of. I'm a feminist, but sometimes I let men take my suitcase off the luggage thing for me. Something like that. So, in my version of this today, I guess, is I'm a feminist, but I loved in the UAE that people would just speak to Scott and not me, so I could have a mental break and not have to answer questions. It was great. Like they would just address you. Like they would only be like, so what will you be both having for your dinner, for example? You know, what would you both be ordering today? And I could just tell you my order. You could order it for me. I could go into Shelby Land and daydream, think about other things, let my mind have a bit of a rest from, you know, the chaos that is being a human. And it was just nice. It was really, you know, it was lovely. I mean, there's so many other things. I mean, I could, you know, and you'll probably cover some of these, so I don't like steal what yours is. But I love how well we were treated as a couple. How, like, you know, there was so many, like the family thing. So like, is that your one or not? Because I don't want to steal if you're going to talk about it. A lot of places would have like a section for families, and as a couple, we were considered to be a family. So like at a gig at what's that place called? Global Village. There was a concert on, and there was a section where you could only go in it if you were either a woman or a family. And us as a couple, we were allowed to go in that, or we could queue jump certain things because we were a couple. Like, it was mad. There were so many things. So yeah, those are my favorite things about. That's my favorite thing about the UAE. Getting to chill out and you take the reins. Not that you don't anyway, but do you know what I mean? It's more of obviously it's more balanced usually, but it was nice to like not have to think about anything. And then also the perks of us just being able to like go places and it be really pleasant because we were a couple. Like getting on New Year's Eve, being able to get into that area because we were a couple. Yeah, those are my favorite things. What were yours, Scott?
Yes, and we need to make sure we keep this to one for each thing.
Sorry.
Because for a lot of these countries, we could roll off hundreds of great and maybe not so great with some things, but for me, yeah, I mean, I could say both. Well, I guess not the first one because I had to do all the talking, but and that seems to be quite similar. I mean, especially Middle Eastern countries, but it was quite a similar experience in the other countries we're going to talk about here as well. But for me, I think this wouldn't be my favorite thing if I went again, but because it just nailed it exactly how I expected, it just really like made me so happy. Just how luxurious Dubai and Abu Dhabi was. Like every hotel, restaurant, venue we went into, it was just so luxurious. Any museum, anything we went to was just stunning. Like, yeah, we did go to some deliberately nice places. Like, we went to a palace, but it was like, I mean, we've been to quite a few palaces for our lives, and it was outrageous. Like, it was the highest ceiling I've ever been in. It was the unbelievable, immaculate. Like, it would have cost, oh my God, it might even be in the billions. Like, it was ginormous and had all the best rock, and it was just stunning. So, you know, I've always looked at the UAE, especially Dubai, as luxury, the 7-star hotels, the absolute best customer service, and it just didn't disappoint at all. It absolutely is the one it's rare that you go to a place and it nails exactly what you expect. Dubai nailed exactly what I expected, and for me that was just made it a really fun experience. So what would be the least favorite thing, Shelby, for you?
Well, you see, I've just been trying to think, and I'm struggling because I enjoyed lots about it. And again, like, you know, you're saying stick to one. Because there are a couple of, like, niggly things I could be like, oh, this annoyed me a bit, that annoyed me a bit, oh, like, wasn't ideal. But I guess if I had to pick something that I liked least about the UAE, and this is going to be quite an ignorant response, but the lack of availability of alcohol. Like, we like a drink with a meal, and obviously, and I totally 100% respect why this isn't the case, why you can't get it, but just I think that was like an inconvenience. And again, I'm grasping. Do you know what I mean? That's how great of a place it was. Just that, yeah, when you go out for a meal, there would be a cocktail menu, but actually it's a mocktail menu. And then I felt kind of stupid and ignorant for being like, has this got alcohol in it? And like, well, no, obviously not. So yeah, that would be, I would say, the one thing that was, standing out to me, or that I can think of at the moment.
It was hard though, because there's, you know, when you're traveling, obviously people who live there or have traveled there before, they know how it works. They know the logistics. They know how, you know, each district of the country, you know, the cities work. But when you're new there, you don't know. So, you know, you don't know. So what you don't know, you don't know. So, you know, in those moments where it clearly looked like it had alcohol in every bar and restaurant we walked by, but it just didn't, and we felt silly, kept on asking, but we learned it, didn't we? So, yeah, that was a learning. Yeah, it's hard to put any negative on some of these countries. I'm just going to take one, and it's on a single day, so it doesn't even span over the whole holiday. Was New Year's Eve. We could not get a taxi.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. And it
that was so hard.
Yeah, that it was. And it wasn't like we, you know, obviously taxis are hard to get on New Year's, but we were actually getting quite concerned because we were I mean, we were not walkable to our place. You know, I think it would have been like a 3-hour walk, and it would have been on like highways because these sort of places you can't just walk. But we just couldn't get a taxi. It took us like 3 hours maybe to get a taxi, and it was by this time it was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 a.m. or whatever. And every single taxi was turning us down, and every person we spoke to said, "Yeah, you got no chance." And we were getting quite worried because we're like, "Well, what do we do?"
Yeah, and we also didn't have data, and we didn't have a SIM card, so we were only relying on if we could get Wi-Fi. And then this one guy hotspotted us.
Yeah, security guy.
Yeah, security guy hotspotted us, and yeah, I think that's maybe how we eventually got one. I can't even remember how we eventually got the taxi, but it was really hard work. So yeah, that's a great example, darling.
Yeah, I forgot we didn't even have internet, so that's crazy how we did that. Yeah, it was a nightmare. But swiftly moving on to Indonesia, we went to Bali, but we also went over to Gili Trawangan, which is the 3 islands, mini islands. So yeah, we experienced quite a bit of Indonesia. So Shelby, what's your favourite thing? And you've got to keep it to one because I know you can have lots.
I'm gonna keep it to one word: dogs. There are lots of dogs in Bali, and burrito specifically. If I had to choose one very specific thing, burrito was a dog that we met in a Mexican restaurant. Fantastic dog. I mean, we've spoken about him, in fact, on an earlier podcast episode. So yeah, I love all the dogs that are in Bali and how they are such a part of the culture, and that, you know, there are some that belong to people, and then there are others that are street dogs, but people put out food for them, and they care for them. So yeah, dogs is my favourite thing about Bali. What's yours, Scott?
For me, it was the food.
The food was great.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you know, we went to a lot of interesting countries that gave us great meals, but I've got to say, because someone actually asked me this the other day, where was the best food? And I was surprised my answer, because when I really thought about it, I was like, well, yeah, I could easily say Japan, I could say Singapore, but I was like, wait a minute, Indonesia gave us just so much creative vegetarian and vegan food every day.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so set for vegetarian and veganism. And some of the restaurants, like that alchemy, the creativity of vegan food is outstanding.
Yeah.
Like, they can give you, it'll look exactly like, taste like a fried egg. I'm mind blown. I was eating a fried egg and it wasn't. Like, so I was able to have a real variation of vegetarian food rather than just having sort of the standard things you'd have in cities. So for me, the food I was just overjoyed with.
Yeah, definitely. And a place that sticks out for me is that Plant Bistro, you know, the one next to the gallery.
Oh, that was to die for, that meal.
That should be a Michelin restaurant. And it wasn't even, like, I think we paid 40 quid. And that was, like, for desserts and drinks as well. And maybe even sides. And it was, you'd get the gnocchi, the sage butter gnocchi. It was,
And I had a steak. And obviously it wasn't, vegetarian steak. And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was even like medium rare. It was red. It was crazy.
Bizarre. And they have a bakery that you have to very smartly walk through on the way in and way out. Yeah. And yeah, the pastries were spot on. So that's in Ubud, and it's right next to the Antonio Blanco Museum.
Has a picture of Michael Jackson.
It does.
In there.
It does, yeah, because I guess Michael Jackson was a fan of his work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have to agree. The food in Indonesia is outstanding.
Mm. And what about your not so favorite thing about Indonesia?
So that for me is how much it's changed. I think that's the 4th time that I've been to Bali. Yes, twice with Mum, once on my own, and now once with you. And yeah, I just how like, it's always been influencery. There's always been influences there. Like, you know, it's known for it. And I'm a tourist there. Do you know what I mean? So I can't be like, oh, it's too many tourists, because I'm also a tourist. But they all just take themselves so seriously. Like, you know, in front of the temples, it's not one picture. It's a 20-minute photo shoot, and nobody smiles. Like, in fact, we walked by one guy, and he half smiled at us, and then it's like he corrected himself. He's like, no, I'm a serious person. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to smile. And I just found that so bizarre, because the locals are amazing. Like, Indonesian people are spot on. They're great. So yeah, I would say just how much more touristy it is, how it seems to be that the tourists that are there right up their own arses, to put it plainly. How about you, Scott?
Yeah, I'd have to second that. We didn't have any. Yeah, there were just a lot of influency types. I could say that, but I'm gonna go ahead with the roads were quite tough. So I love running. So and I always find a way to run wherever I am. India was by far the toughest, but this was second. Indonesia is the roads in Bali at least are super windy, so you don't walk or run for more than 100 200 meters before you'd make in another turn, so you're constantly winding turns, and everyone has a bike, so every road is just full of bikes. And again, there's no rules. Everyone, you can undercut, overcut, you can just take blind corners in any way you want. So being a runner, I'm trying to go run long distance, 10 15 20 plus miles, and I'm going out and I have to deal with these turns every couple of seconds. And snake, yeah, I came across a snake. That I have a video of that. Yeah, and then look, I did not go near. I was like, oh shit, because it was a big black snake. I was like, oh god, I don't know if that was bad. But there was a local that was coming up the path, so I thought I'll just wait for him and tell him. He didn't understand what I meant, and I was like, there, look, and he was like, what? He kept walking closer and closer. I was like, dude, no, you can't go too close. And once he saw it, he jumped back. Yeah. He jumped back and went, oh, and then he very just calmly there was sort of a river to the left of the path. He stepped into the river. I was like, what's he doing? And he just sort of threw water towards the snake, like just picked it up with his hand and threw water like you'd throw water at someone in a pool, and it just sort of freaked the snake out and it just slid off. Oh. So it just slid off. Oh. And then we walked. It was quite funny because we walked together. Like I walked on the other side, and every time he sped up, I sped up. Like, and so we started like walking. Like it was funny because I was scared it was still going to be in the grass. But anyway, but yeah, and the bikes will they will also go on anything. So it doesn't matter if you're on a walking path, a bike's going to be there. If you're on a cobble path, a bike's going to be there. If you're on a pavement, a bike's going to be there.
In a restaurant, a bike's going to be there.
If you're in a restaurant, there's going to be an influencer and a bike.
Influencer on a bike.
An influencer on a bike, yeah. So you just have to, especially with running and just trying to get around, it's just, you really have to, no headphones, and you have to be really aware, and it can just get a bit taxing. Like I just fucking want to go for a run, and I'm having to dive out of the ways of bikes every time, and then you've got a cliff edge right next to you. Let's dive this way, off this cliff. So yeah, it was just navigating the roads was difficult. So we move on to Singapore, and your favourite thing, my darling?
Raffles is my favourite thing in Singapore. Raffles is a famous hotel. It's beautiful. It's a very old hotel. It's the bar in there called Long Bar is the birthplace of the Singapore Sling cocktail, which is a delightful, fruity gin-based cocktail. And in that bar itself, it's really quirky because they've got like those old-fashioned style fans, that kind of like on one beam, and it's like mechanical, like leaf blowing, like loads of mechanical leaf. How would you describe it?
It's like if you think of like Caesar, and he has his women that would be wafting him with those big like palm like things that they'd waft him. It's just that, but it's on the ceiling. Yeah, it just wafts.
Exactly.
And that used to be also an old style fan in like rich houses. They would have the slaves that would just literally pull the cord all the way through dinner. They would just whilst they're eating dinner, they would just be pulling a cord all through dinner. And it would be doing two things. It would be keeping them cool, and it keeps the flies away from the food. So when you go into like quite old mansions, you'll see like these weird fans in the roof.
Interesting. Didn't know that. Yeah, so they have those, and then you also get a massive sack of peanuts, and it's tradition in there that you just throw the peanut shells on the floor, so the entire floor is just covered in peanut shells, which sounds gross, but it's not. I don't know. So yeah, Raffles, and it's just such it's a beautiful hotel. So that's my favorite thing in Singapore.
Yeah, and I appreciate it because I'd not heard of it, and you very much introduced and taught me about it because you showed me a film that taught me about it, and then you took me to it. So it was a really cool experience for me because I'd never heard about it, and you gave me a lot of the history. So it was really cool. Um, for me, the best thing was them having so many shopping malls everywhere. And it's not like a UK shopping mall, because UK shopping malls can be stressful and you can't find the right shop, and it's always, on the other side of it. For them, they had way more efficient shopping malls. It's like every 10 minutes, even sometimes you'd have shopping malls 5 minutes between each other. And in those shopping malls, they would have like 25 restaurants. So like wherever you were in Singapore, you at any point could just get any food or just anything from the shop. So like, working there, and I have an office there that I could go to, so it was really good. That was next to two big malls, and it was great. Like, it had so many places to eat, so we always could eat something new, and it was always great food. And if we needed something from a shop, it was just so easy to get everything. So it was just set up really well with all these big malls rather than just having loads of corner shops.
Yeah, I think it is just a super convenient place generally. Like, it's a very livable city. For anyone, I challenge anyone to go there and find it a difficult place to be. Yeah,
that's so true. What was your least favorite thing about Singapore?
The customer service. So it wasn't that it was bad. It just wasn't good. There's this kind of an attitude in Singapore of, because it's such a safe place to live, that it's like, it's referred to as a nanny state, where like they're very much looked after, like they don't have to worry about a thing, and likewise they're paid well, which is good. It's a good thing. But like in America, where you'll have an over the top kind server because they need it for the tips. Like, not saying that servers in America aren't genuinely nice, but they have to go out their way to be nice because they want the tip. Whereas in Singapore, they don't need the tip because they're paid really well, so they're just like, yeah, there you go, there's your drink. Like, just not like, there's one place, I went to a place that was known for, it was a restaurant, but they had an area that you could sit and work, and I was in there, and like my server just kept kind of ignoring me, the waiter, and I asked for sugar for my coffee like 3 times, and he walked by me loads and was like taking stuff to other people. I'm like, you could have literally just dropped the sugar on the table. Like it took 20 minutes to get it. So by that point, coffee's getting cold, and that's just one example. But I found that generally speaking, the customer service, again, wasn't bad. It was indifferent. It was indifferent customer service. Yeah.
And I think I'd follow that indifferent to just the whole, just Singapore. Like, for me, I just found it a bit boring. I just like, Singapore has been talked up so much, and this super high techy, absolute affluent, really amazing, cool place, super environmentally friendly. And it does have these things, but it just wasn't. I just didn't find it that impressive. I just was not that impressed. I thought the most impressive thing was the zoo. I went to the zoo and it was great. It had some really rare animals in there, like the sun bear. But outside of that, I mean, we went to some cool bars and stuff, but I was never really wowed there, which I was really shocked. I really expected to be really wowed by Singapore, and the thing that probably wowed me most was the zoo and the drone show.
The drone show was phenomenal. For Chinese New Year, it was like a dragon in the sky. It was outrageous.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But yeah, we went to like some tech museums trying to find cool stuff. The tech museum was crap. Yeah, we tried going around some of the shopping malls. Like, the food's great, but I don't know. It was just, yeah, didn't live up to it, I would say. It was just, it's not as exciting of a place as I thought it would be. But let's move on to Malaysia, and we've got 6 minutes, and we're going to do it.
And I feel like you should go first because I've gone first on all of these.
Oh, crap. Oh, see, now I don't have time. Oh, my God. Malaysia, for me, is you get everything you want in a city at a third of the price. So whereas other cities around the world, you might have to compromise on some things. But in Malaysia, I found we specifically went Kuala Lumpur. We had all the amenities. We had an amazing apartment block. All the food, everything we wanted, lots of entertainment, and it was like a third of the price of Singapore or London. And we got a really nice apartment. So that's what I liked about Malaysia. We were in the capital, and we had all the cool stuff of a capital city you would want, but for a third of the price of any other capital.
Mm. Yeah, and I absolutely love Kuala Lumpur. I felt extremely comfortable there. Like for all the reasons that Scott's just said as well. Like it's very inexpensive. But if I had to pick one thing that stands out, the Petronas Twin Towers are my favourite buildings that we've seen. I don't know why you're laughing, because they are so beautiful. They are stunning. At night time when they're lit up, they look like, they remind me of like the Wizard of Oz, like going into the Emerald City. They are, I mean, they're not green, but other than that, they're just stunning towers. And it's got a shopping centre in it as well, which is a really nice, very like posh seeming shopping centre. But again, it's just not expensive. So yeah, it's great. Kuala Lumpur's fantastic. Can't wait to go back at some point.
Yeah, really cool. And just Malaysia as a whole is a super diverse place.
And friendly.
Yeah.
Really friendly. People are lovely. Yeah, had a wonderful time there.
I am about to throw a spanner in what you've just said there, though.
Okay. Well, yeah, okay.
Because my least favourite thing is, again, this might have just been a bad experience for us. I do not believe, because I think in like the last week we had really good taxi drivers, but mostly our taxi drivers were not nice. And the people were nice, like people in shops, our concierge, our it sounded so posh.
Our concierge.
We're not posh, but just
Actually, we're Vietnamese, I think.
Oh yeah, they were all the security are Vietnamese, aren't they? Yeah, they are all Vietnamese.
So nice.
Yeah, they were so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the Vietnamese were nice and the Malaysians were.
No, but I also think, I don't know where they were from, and I'm not going to surmise, but I don't think the taxi drivers were all local.
Oh, right. This is,
So, yeah, not throw any more spanners in the works.
So it's not clear where anyone's from, but as a whole, everyone is lovely. It's just specifically taxi drivers. We just had really bad experience. We just had a lot of people, a lot of taxi drivers that were just very rude.
Racist.
Yeah, we had some pretty bad racist, like very openly racist, and just quite argumentative, quite intimidating. We've had intimidating, and this wasn't like one or two. This is quite a few.
Yeah. And one with me on my own, he was like having to go because I'd apparently put in the wrong destination. I don't believe I had. I told him where I wanted to go, and that's what I'd put in. And I ended up cancelling the ride and getting out because he was just like yelling at me, like, this isn't what you've put in the app. And yeah, anyway, not nice.
Yeah. And we don't believe that is true of most people's experience. I think we just had some sort of freak experience.
We did have some nice ones.
We did.
But they either were silent or didn't shut up.
Yeah.
And the ones that didn't shut up were either awful or really friendly.
Yeah, and they leaned towards the awful. And we were there a full month. Like, it wasn't like we were there for a week. Like, and I would say probably 70% of it was not pleasant. So
yeah,
we're going to go back again. Hopefully, fingers crossed it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I was going to say, that being said, like, just even speaking about Malaysia now, I feel like homesick for Malaysia and that apartment. I loved our apartment in Malaysia. It was so good.
It was really good.
That bed was the comfiest bed I've ever been in. We slept, really? Can't you remember? Like, we slept for like, we couldn't get up before like 2. Loads of days we slept in because it was just so comfy. I say we. You got up and worked. I slept. But yeah. Right, let's do Thailand.
You haven't said your worst thing about Malaysia.
Well, I mean, it is the taxi drivers. I know it's like hard to say on.
Taxi driver.
If I had to pick something that was different, there must.
You can agree with me.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. The only other
mosquitoes are everywhere.
I know. Yeah, that's why I was like, if you had to pick something else, mosquitoes.
Okay.
leaving, that was my least favourite part of Malaysia. So I think that's a really good sign.
Oh goodness! Now I've got to go. Favorite thing about. Wait, am I on favorite thing or least favorite thing about Thailand?
Favourite thing about Thailand?
Oh my god. Oh, see, I love Thailand. Thailand is. I don't know if that's something I love about it. It is. If I say Thailand is the most fun place in the world, is that something I love about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, it's just not specific, is it? But if you are looking as an adult, or to be honest, even if for your children, not specifically Bangkok, but children go to like parts of Phuket, and honestly, but adult or child, Thailand is a theme park of fun.
Mm.
Like, it is just such a fun place. Like, it just has everything. Like, I just had so much fun there. Like, it's just a place that I feel like I could go back again. Like, oh, where should we go on holiday this year? Oh, let's go Thailand. Let's go Phuket right now.
Yeah.
It's just so fun. Like, it's got loads of water parks. It's got the beach, and you'll find when you travel, like, water sports aren't always on beaches. It's very dependent on the wind and very dependent on the season, and a lot of the coast in Thailand, it's got all water sports, so that's really fun. It just makes beaches so much more fun. All the food's great. The people are awesome, super lovely. You know, lots of good drinking. Marijuana's legal if you so wish to have that. And there's loads of tours you can do, like ATV tours, animal tours. You know, if you're into, want to go, you can even pet a tiger if you so wish. There's tons. There's absolutely tons to do. So it's just a fun place.
It really is. There's so much culture, and like you said, it's just such a variety of things. Like, you're bound to find something that's for you. Like, if you like history and culture, it's got it. If you like live entertainment, it's got it. Like you said about, there's loads of animal interactions that you can do. I personally chose not to do those things, but there are ethical tours as well, which I just, didn't seek out, I guess.
There's like the shows there as well. I'm not joking. They are Vegas level shows. I was outstanded by the one I watched in Phuket. It was Vegas level. It was outstanding.
Wow. But yeah, it's a wonderful place. And my favourite thing about Thailand, that's such a tough one. I know what my least favourite thing is, and that's not to say that I didn't love it, but I do love it. The cheap massages, like, because you've covered quite a lot of it there, I'd say, of what I love about it. But yeah, the massages are super cheap. Like, we have a local lady to us, Nana Thai Massage. We love you.
I love you, Nana Thai.
I've been to her twice in the last 2 weeks.
I haven't been to her yet.
Well, yeah.
I shot her a message the other day, though. I am trying to book in with her at the moment, so I can't wait to, catch up with her.
She's just so good. Like, I had a problem with my wrist. I think I like sort of, not exactly sprained it, but like pre-sprained it, like to the point where like when you push yourself up on the bed and it hurts. And she spent ages like working it, and she's so good. But yeah, Thai massages are super cheap in Thailand. Obviously, it's Thailand. Thai massage. So yeah, I love that. You could go have a massage every day for like £6. And yeah, so shall we go on to the least?
So least favourite thing for me, I do have it, so it went out of my head, was, this is more specific to Bangkok, the pollution. The pollution was, I'd say, the pollution was the worst I've experienced. India was pretty bad for pollution.
Yeah.
But yeah, between Bangkok and India, I think Bangkok was probably the most isolated amount of pollution I've experienced. To the point, I've got asthma as it is, and a bit of a usually quite a bunged up nose. It doesn't take much to bung up my nose, especially when I'm going between like humid climates. And honestly, there was specific streets in Bangkok where in an instant, like, my nose would just block and my throat would block up. And I got a bit panicked at times, because I was like, I'd go from breathing fine to like not breathing much, and it freaked me out a couple times. But it would happen on like these more closed off local streets, and it was just the level of pollution. Because you'll find in Asia that they're all petrol heads, like they're all just, they've all got everyone's got a bike, and it's just pumping out so much gas. So it's yeah, for me that was the pollution. But in Phuket it was not like that. But in Bangkok the pollution was really bad.
Yeah. And for me, my least favourite thing is, again, this is more in Bangkok than it was anywhere else, the animal exploitation that was really prevalent. Like on Koh Sam Road, you will have a dead tarantula shoved in your face and scorpions on a stick. And there was like some sort of reptile that was hung up by its all 4 limbs and then just cut open and like... it was just awful. Like seeing so much animal exploitation. That was the worst thing for me by a mile.
Yeah, that's fair. And I did do an animal experience. The tiger was okay, but the elephant experience I did, it was uncomfortable. I haven't told you about this, but it was very clear they were not treated well, and I did not enjoy it at all. It was a really torn down. It was not a nice venue. It was just 2 guys that looked like they've just put up a shop on the side of the road. They looked like the biggest scam artists, and it looked like they just captured some elephant. Like it felt awful. Like I didn't feel good about that. Like for me, I'm not the level you are. Like with like you know, for me, I'm vegetarian for health benefits. You know, I love animals, but I guess you might say not enough to not, you know, not to go do these experiences. But yeah, I know you, and it's amazing that you keep to those values. It's so important that you do. So you're so beautiful, inside and out, my darling. But I hope you've had a wonderful episode. I know we have. And we're not far off time. I felt like we did do really well today. We're 6 minutes over, but I feel like I feel like we did do well today.
I feel like we had a lot of content, and I think that we've managed to get it in less time than it should have been. So that's good.
Yeah, go us. So we love you all, and we thank you for taking a break from your day to get balls deep with us. Until next time, remember, stay ballsy.
Dive deep,
but don't forget your snorkel.
Balls deep.